from your inner child, from your God self, from your inner light, then you know not to go where your light doesn't shine. If you're going somewhere, if you're meeting someone, if you're talking to someone, and it's not bringing out your inner light, it's not helping your inner light shine brighter, you need to go, you need to move from there. Because sometimes, I think that's another thing I tell my younger self is, I don't want to say don't be naive, right? But also know your limits, know your powers, know the strength of your light. Because there are people that will dim your light the longer you try to bring light to their worlds. Because their worlds are much darker than your light can shine at this moment. Maybe later, maybe when you're older, more grown in the light, maybe then your light can penetrate their dark cave. But for now, every time you try and go into the dark cave with your little candle, you're gonna come out with a burnt out candle. You're not gonna bring light to them. You're not gonna, you know what I mean? That's what I tell the little homie or not, dog. You don't need to do this to yourself. You've got people that your vibe is your tribe. You've got people that see the light in you, that shine the same light in themselves. And the same example of the candle is when you have one candle, it's bright. When you have two candles, it's brighter than both of them individually. And that's what you're trying to find, is all these other candles around you. Because once you have a circle of candles, no matter how dark the cave is, we're in the light.
Real. Real. Find your people. That's a major message for for our younger selves. Is like find and feel and believe your gut. Believe your gut when your gut tells you this ain't really.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
True.
And that's the craziest thing, right? Is like I'm saying, well, I've always felt under such pressure that everything was forced to be impulsive, even romance, right? You see a girl, you like the way she looks. You start talking to her, you like the way her voice sounds, right?
Look at the way your face changes when you're talking about girls.
What does that mean?
See a girl,
why you just...
and her face, she looks beautiful. I'm like, wow.
Can I get my on?
Yes.
Walking down the street and you see this fly honey. She looking like ice cream melted.
Not like butter.
Ice cream melted is bad.
Better melt my packs.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Real smooth, baby. But this is my point. Is when you're like at that rate that I was going, everything was impulsive. I couldn't even differentiate being physically attracted to women to being head over heels in love. So I spent a lot of my teen years constantly in love, right? Because I'd be so infatuated with a girl, right? That it was bound to end in the sense how this is not how normal relationships develop. You know what I mean? I can't meet you today or start talking to you today, and then I don't know, a week later I'm telling you I love you, huh? You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I'm the only one who was foolish enough to do that when I was a teenager. But that's the point.
I was right there with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, same here.
And that's the point. Is learning to take your time. Means or you allow relationships also to develop naturally. You know what I mean? So because also what happens is going at it at that pace means or it also wears away, it chips away at your core beliefs of what relationships are. You know what I mean? Because if I'm constantly finding girls that I'm attracted to and then getting so head over heels so quickly, and then the girl is like, this is too much for me, I'm gonna be out, right? Now I'm heartbroken. So I'm always going, like, now I've put myself in a crazy pendulum where I'm swinging from I'm in love again to I'm heartbroken again, to I'm in love again, to I'm heartbroken again. I don't know, man. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, I'd be like, hey, homie, you don't need to go through this, bro. Take your time. It's cool, bro. Like, if you like a girl and she really likes you, it's going to come together, dog. Have faith. Ain't no need to do none of this. This is not necessary, man. Like, you are causing yourself undue misery right now, man. See, and that's probably, and I think that's probably why I still have beef with R&B to this day, because I was constantly swinging from in love to Heartbroken.
That's where it came from.
Yes, that's the
truth.
We've discovered it.
Yes.
It's not
That's where it
R&B's
came from.
fault, my niece.
Yeah.
That's but no. Right.
Yeah.
No, they have to disagree with me.
It's
They
not
have to disagree with
Do you
me.
know why? Do you know why? Do you know why I can tell you?
R&B's fault, bro.
Can I tell you why I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt it's not R&B's fault?
That it's not R&B's fault. I'm listening.
I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt that it's not R&B's fault because I was going through the same thing that you went through in that period of teenagehood. I went through the same pendulum swings and I was listening to hardcore rap. I hated R&B. I lived with Junior who loved R&B and I hated every time he had control of the radio. I felt like I could pull my hair out because I despised R&B. Like my affinity for R&B only came later when I was like varsity years, post-varsity years, learning to have like a wider, appreciation for all kinds of music. Even Kwaito and R&B, I hated the most.
Used to irritate me
at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's definitely.
Excuse me, no, you were saying it's definitely not R&B's fault.
It's definitely not R&B's fault. I think
Am I allowed to reply? Can I defend myself in terms of why it's R&B?
Let's hear it.
Because, right? Excuse me. Depending on what kind of household you were raised in, right? I was raised in the type of household where there were 4 children, 1 mother, right? So in situations like that, it's pretty easy to feel ignored and unloved, right? Because there's only so much love and attention that can go around, right? If there's 4 of you and there's only 1 parent, right? Or somebody else might argue, well, okay, you'd have to have a super parent that's gonna make sure every child feels love, which is what I'm hoping is the type of parents we're gonna be, where there'll be no excuses, or whether there's 1 child or whether there's 10 children, each child will know that they're loved. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that actually helps people develop more along the lines of their inner child than having to go out into the world, get chipped up, and then have to come back and heal and remold yourself, or precisa. So before hormones, right? I always used to love the sound of love when R&B cats were speaking about it, because that was something I wished I had. I wished I had that love, or somebody could love me like that, or I could have someone to love like that at home in my family, like for my inner child to feel like all this love I have in me is actually reciprocated immediately around me, right? But I didn't have that. So I grew up hearing all of this wonderful R&B lovey-dovey shit, man. And then eventually, like, I'd hear it in the background, man. But then I was obviously deep into hip-hop. So I grew up listening to raps, Tupac albums. That's where I was taking all of my emotional cues and clues, man. But then puberty comes, and now you got hormones. And now you're trying to figure out how to talk to girls. And the first thing that comes to mind is all these nice ways that you heard these niggas grew up talking to girls, right? So now you taking cues from R&B to get with a girl, right? So when you're in love, they've got all the nice songs. Like, can you be the most beautiful girl in the world? They got all that pretty sexy shit. Exactly. And then when a week later, now I'm in the breakup phase, like, yeah, there was I don't know who was the trending shit back then, but so R&B was perfectly made for those makeup shits, bro.
But I was going through the same thing. So what happened to me? I
don't know what happened to you. You must be.
I went through the exact same pendulum swings of like being attracted to, drawn to a girl. You know what I'm saying? The next thing, you know,
1 week later, now you're heartbroken.
You know?
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't.
No, sorry. Can I just say, on behalf of my inner child and me, fuck R&B. You can say
Yeah, I think R&B also played a role in my life, because I remember like jamming to "Fuck What I Said, You Don't Mean Shit." No. So, you remember, like, we even listened to the male version. Don't want you back. There was even a female version. I was like, yeah. It
was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember an Usher song specifically. And now when I think about it, like, if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I'd tell that nigga, stop acting like a bitch, homie. You're acting real bitch made right now. Because I'd be listening to Usher. You gonna want me back? And I'd be singing along like, yeah, that bitch don't know what the fuck she done did. She lost out. And I'm like, this is some bitch made behavior, bro.
No, but that's not a bad song. It doesn't sound like it's a bad song. Like,
You gonna want me back? How petty and childish is that? You gonna want me back? No, bruh. This is how it works in real life. Relationships come together, especially when they come together for the wrong reasons. They bound to end. And that's something I wish I could tell my younger self for now, homie. First of all, you're coming into this with way too much pressure and unnecessary energy, right? So the outcome is bound not to be good, Okusisa. It's bound not to be good. And now, for my older self, I can look at it and see as emotionally aware as I am, there's no reason at any point in my life that I should have been thinking revenge and petty thoughts like, you're gonna want me back. I'm too, and I know this sounds egotistic, but I'm too valuable in the universe to ever feel like I've lost someone. It's never that way, bro. Anybody who's no longer a part of my life, okay, best case scenario, we've both